Alright, today we have that 07 F-150 that is actually overcharging. This is a reman alternator that's already on here. So we'll be changing that out. And procedure to do this is pretty simple, but I want to go over a few tips on it and walk you through the procedure so you do it right the first time and everything's just fine, no mishaps. This procedure applies to Crown Vics, Grand Marquis, F-150s, Mustangs, Expeditions, anything that has a 4.6 or a 5.4 engine in it is going to have it right here in the center and right here on top. First thing we want to do is definitely disconnect the negative battery cable, wrap a rag around it, and then get it off to the side and isolate it, so there's no issues when we pull this main positive off. Now the big difference between all these different model years and vehicles and types is the air intake snorkel. So they're all basically pretty simple. They're going to have a clamp on them, maybe some lines connecting to them, and stuff like that, but otherwise they're fairly simple to take off, and then you have free access to your alternator. So we're going to go ahead and start on it. Start getting these retainers off. And there'll always be some kind of back bracket like this. Whether it's small or big like this, like a horseshoe, there's going to be a top basic bracket to support it, and then your two ears and 10mm bolts down below. That's common to all. We're going to pull the air intake snorkel off here and get it out of the way. That's all nice and stuck together. And then we're going to start from the top and start undoing all these bolts for the top bracket. And we're going to undo the 10mm nut for the main power on there. And we can get this bracket off. They're all 10 mils, just about any model year. It's going to be a 10mm bolt. Put those to the side. There's going to be between 2 and 4 bolts on there for this bracket. You can see this one's like a horseshoe, and other one's like an L bracket. Just depends. These ones have a regular new style connector, which is an 07, and you just press in the tab on the actual generator connector for the regulator. Just like that. Black tab right there is pressed in and pull. We can get this out of the way. And now we need to release tension on the belt by releasing the tensioner, and we'll put the belt off to the side. And then we can pull the last 2 bolts and get this puppy out of here. What I use for these is a regular 1/2-inch breaker bar instead of a serpentine belt tool, because you need to come back away from all the upper radiator hose and brackets. And it's best to use that, which you probably have more than a serpentine belt tool. And then just release it off of there. And then if you're really worried about the routing, what you can do is something like this with a bungee, and just keep tension the whole time. You're putting the bungee on, and after you release it, and you can hook the bungee around, and then you can keep tension and hook it somewhere else in the vehicle. And that way you won't lose your belt routing, you won't come off of any of these ribs. After that, down here there's 2 10mm bolts on the ears of the alternator, They're kind of like this. You see they're slotted. Now what we got to do is we can just loosen them and leave them in the block. And it makes it a lot simpler to put them on there. Some of them are not like this. They actually have just regular holes. Later on they became slotted like this. And you can just loosen them a little bit and pull the alternator off. New one on. Goes right down into it and you tighten. So it makes it a lot simpler. Either way it's pretty simple. This makes it really nice though. So just loosen them a bit. Okay. And then we'll be able to pull up and out. And just as fast as she came out, she goes in and goes right on top of those. What we're going to do is we're going to tighten these bottom ones up first. And that'll push the alternator all the way back. Now is a good time to put that belt back on. Release your bungee, keep tension on it, bring your breaker back, hook it onto there, and just do a quick post check, make sure it's aligned on all the ribs and the rest of the pulleys, just do a quick visual. Now before we go any further and put that top bracket back on here, we need to do this connection to the regulator, because that goes underneath it. Make sure it clicks like that. And then line this up. Put your 4 10mm bolts back in. Tighten them down. These ones are 89 inch-pounds, and the lowers down here are 18 foot-pounds. Put your eyelet on there for the main power. Might as well push this on. And these ones I always tighten by hand. Don't want to break that ear off of there. Alright, we got our bolts back in. Everything looks good. Put our negative back on. Tighten it down. Finish up by putting your air intake snorkel back on here. Push it on this side, and then get this side lined up with the little nub in here and clamp it down, and that'll be all lined as far as that goes. And then you can push in on this and tighten down on the clamp. Don't forget any lines that are going to this snorkel. There's usually, at least one. Get all those back in. Quick post check. Make sure there's nothing down in there when we start it, and then we'll check voltage to make sure that we have the proper voltage now with the new alternator. So we got an idle voltage of 14.22 volts. That's absolutely perfect. I see most of these hovering. The regulator has them set right around 14.2, more common than any other voltage that I've seen. So we're good.